Welcome back, everybody. It's time for the year 2 off-season, our second full off-season in the series. And we're going to jump right into things with player retirements. Dwight Howard, Chris Paul, Ariza, Thaddeus Young, Lou Williams, JaVale McGee, Robin Lopez, and more have all retired. Ish Smith, Taj Gibson, Marcus Morris, DeMarcus Cousins, PJ Tucker, they're all gone. Staff retirements. Greg Popovich, one of the greatest head coaches of all time, has officially retired after 33 years in the NBA. Andy Greer also retires, as does David McClure. Chris Paul and Dwight Howard make the Hall of Fame. And Paul gets his Clippers jersey retired. Dwight Howard, of course, gets his Magic one retired as well. And now it's time for the draft lottery, where we will find out if we get a higher pick than 7 or a lower pick, or if we just stay at 7. Again, 7th best odds at getting that first overall pick. I really hope that we jump up a couple of spots. But 7 is a pretty good spot to be in, I think. So through 5 picks, nothing has changed in terms of the order of the draft. Ooh, the Suns have jumped up from pick 10 to the top 4, which that could be bad news for us. The Kings stay at 9. We're coming up on our pick now. We actually have the 8th best odds now. And that's where we sit. We go from 7 to 8. Not what I wanted to see. So that is unfortunate. And the Pelicans have just moved up after our pick. Come on, really? They're in the top 4. The Sound with the 6th best odds now. They will be in the top 4. The Pelicans are at 6. And the Spurs will be at 5. Pick 4 is for the Pelicans. They now have pick 6 and pick 4. That pick via the Lakers from the Anthony Davis trade. And the Suns get pick 3. Top 2 picks between the Thunder and the Sound. The Sound get pick 2. The Thunder will have the first overall pick. They also have pick 10 and they have pick 14 as well. So they will have quite the rookie class, you would have to imagine. So here is the full first round as of right now prior to the actual draft. You got Thunder, Sound, Suns, Pelicans, Spurs, Pelicans, Knicks, Woodsmen, Kings, and Thunder in your top 10. We only have one first round pick this year, but several teams have more than one. Okay, so I have thought about this quite a lot, and for staff signing, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to fire our head coach, Milan Mack. He still has 2 years left on his deal, but I'm going to fire him and bring in a better coach, because if you look at the offensive and defensive coaching, it's 1.5 stars out of 5 for each of them. Basketball IQ is 2 stars, and I think to get the most out of our younger players, we need to hire a better coach. So what we could do is we could promote Trent Peterson, who is currently our guard guru, to the head coaching spot, because we already have him on our team. He's got A+ offensive coaching. He's got B defensive coaching. And with our offensive struggles, that will help out the offense. I don't think our defense needs much help from our coaching staff, but this could help the offense a lot. I will throw him an offer. I'm not going to hire Michael Stauffer, because this is 2K's broken head coach. I don't want to use him because that's just kind of broken. So I don't want to try that. So I will actually offer Trent Peterson and see if we can, just promote him to head coach. And I also do want to fill in a couple of other spots on our coaching staff. In fact, I am also going to fire our assistant head coach, because he's actually even worse than Milan Mack was, with 1.5 stars offensive and defensive coaching, only 1 star for basketball IQ. He's got no charisma, and I'm going to fire him as well and bring in somebody new there too. We also don't currently have a team doctor, so I'm going to fire probably 1 or 2 of our scouts because that will free up a couple of spots to hire some more people. I'll hire a foreign scout as well. We should still keep all the knowledge we have of current prospects, and this will give us more leeway in terms of hiring people. So we have now promoted Trent Peterson to head coach. He took the deal. We'll have to hire some more people for the coaching staff as well. Okay, so I have made some more offers. I will sign a new stamina trainer and a big man coach. We also bring in a new guard guru, and we get Will Hardy as our assistant head coach. We also sign Randall Campbell as our team doctor. So right now, our staff is full. We have a full front office. We have a lot more coaching than last year and better coaching at that. I was trying to sign a wing whisperer, but I had to choose between that or a team doctor. And so I just chose team doctor, obviously, because we kind of have to do that. I did fire 2 more scouts to make room because I'm trying to focus on coaching more so the rest of the way because that is more important as of right now. So we have a new team doctor, our stamina trainer. We still have the same sports science guy and the same physio. And I think that we improved our staff a lot here. So we have reached the draft, and I think I might trade up from pick 8 to pick 6 because the Pelicans have pick 4. I think they would be down to trade back 2 spots. It just depends what they want for it. Alright, so one of their offers is to give us pick 6 and give us a 2028 first round pick, so 4 years in the future, and they will get Josh Richardson and our 8th overall pick, and I'm down for this, so I'm going to accept this trade, and this should go through. We'll have pick 6. So we trade up 2 spots, and now it's time to start this draft. Not going to trade up any further, so let's go ahead and get started. The first overall pick for the Thunder, they take Yuri Klimov out of Russia, a 6'9" small forward. It was very, very good, had some high potential. The Sound with pick 2, they will take Alex Barker as expected. I could see him or Klimov going first overall, and they get a really good shooting guard out of this draft. Pick 3 for the Suns. They take point guard Thomas Copeland, who one of you guys wanted really bad, but he does not fall to us. In fact, stays in the top 3. 6'6" point guard. The Pelicans with pick 4. They take center Rixie Duganics out of Minnesota. And now the Spurs are on the clock. They select small forward Tommy Shepard out of Duke, and now we are on the clock. Okay, so here's who we have left on our draft where we have Chuck Outlaw, we have Keon Murphy, Sean Cartwright, Edwin Morris, Simon Anderson, Nelson Daniel, and Nicholas Lowry. I don't think I want to go for a big man right now because I think guard is more of a pressing issue for us. But Chuck Outlaw is a very good player. He's pretty solid. Could definitely get a lot better offensively and has high potential in that area. He has good post defense, good rebounding, and he's a 7'2" center. But we have Miles Turner, and I think that I don't plan on trading him or cutting him or anything like that. So there's no point in drafting Outlaw and bringing him off the bench for like 3 years in a row as a first round pick. There's also 6'1" point guard Sean Cartwright, who I think is probably my least favorite guard out of the ones that we have on this list. He's a scoring point guard, can also play make, as we talked about last episode, and his defense needs work, but is definitely not in a bad spot for a rookie who's only 20 years old. But he is 6'1", and I think there's a better option available for a guard. There's also Edwin Morris, who is 22 years old, a 74 overall right now. He can shoot, he can play really solid defense, good athlete, pretty solid IQ for a rookie, and he's got B+ potential as well. Then we have 22-year-old out of Ohio State, a 6'6" shooting guard, 77 overall, Simon Anderson, who is definitely a better offensive player than Morris is, a worse defensive player, but he's better all around as of right now, a higher overall, and he's also 6'6". Morris is 6'5", but if we could have Anderson and a Zet Both guys 6'6", both guys at shooting guard. Probably the same overall going into the upcoming season if he joins our team. I feel like he could be a really good option for us. Then you have Nelson Daniel, who's a 74 overall shooting guard. He's 6'4", out of Washington. He's a better scorer than Morris and Anderson. Defense down low is actually pretty impressive for a 6'4" shooting guard who's a rookie. Defense needs work on the outside, though. He has lower athleticism, same IQ, and the same potential. So this one's kind of tough. His ceiling is Bradley Beal / all-star. Floor is Damian Lee / bench. Meanwhile, Anderson is also compared to Bradley Beal. He is 2 years older than Nelson, though, which not sure how that affects potential and whatnot. But he's already better at this point than Nelson Daniel is. I will say, though, Anderson's defense is concerning, but his A+ 3-point scoring is very good. But Nelson Daniel also has the same amount, and he has 3 badges. He's got 1 for finishing with Pro Touch. He's got 2 for shooting with Corner Specialist and Green Machine. And Anderson was supposed to go in the top 5. Could have gone at pick 2, but drops to us here at pick 6. Meanwhile, Daniel was supposed to go at pick 14, pick 19, or pick 7. And again, he's a better shooter than Anderson is. His defense is also better, but the athleticism is probably lowering that a bit. This is a really tough decision here. I don't know what I want to do, because if I go with Anderson, he's a bigger guard, similar to Izette, probably better offensively right off the bat than Izette is, and so would Daniel as well, Nelson Daniel. But if just having 2 6'6" guards, and also getting a guy who's just better overall, more athletic, taller, has a bigger wingspan, like a much bigger wingspan, almost a foot longer than Daniel, I think that could really be something. And their potential is the same. So either way, they're going to probably end up at the same area. They have the same ceiling as well. I think that with Anderson's floor being higher than Daniel, I think I'm going to take Simon Anderson with our pick. So, Simon Anderson, welcome to Vancouver. We have made our pick out of The Ohio State University, and we get the first Buckeye of the draft. Lang Whitaker says there will be many in the media that will see this as a surprise pick. I, for one, am sold not only on his upside, but also on what he can bring to the table in his rookie season. I agree. He's got good shooting. He is a very good athlete. He's got some pretty solid potential, and he has a high ceiling. So that is our pick. Now, pick 7 in the draft belongs to the New York Knicks, and they select center Keon Murphy out of UCLA. Then with pick 8, after our trade with the Pelicans, they take center Oscar Dawson. So Chuck Outlaw is still available on the board. The Kings at pick 9, they take small forward Dana Westbrook out of Illinois. The Thunder with pick 10, to round out this top 10, they will trade this pick and their second round pick from Charlotte for Kevin Porter Jr. and Cameron Payne. So the Hornets now have this pick. They get their old second rounder back, and they take Chuck Outlaw out of Air Force, the 7'2" center that I almost considered drafting, but I wanted to go guard in this draft, and we made that choice. So Outlaw goes to Charlotte. The Hawks at pick 11 take shooting guard Nelson Daniel. So, we probably could have stayed at pick 8 and probably liked either guy that we took, but I also wanted to get rid of a guy like Richardson, who is a very aging veteran who is going to regress probably 3 or 4 overall points between now and the start of the year. So I think that all in all, we got an extra first round pick a couple years down the line, and we probably got a player that is better right now than Richardson is. And Daniel, I don't think is going to be better than Richardson, but I think he'll be probably around his skill set. As for the Bulls, they take small forward Ellis Wright IV out of Oklahoma. The Rockets at pick 13 select center Jacques Servin out of Marquette. 6'11", 246. The Thunder pick 14. They will take small forward Jeff Kersey out of Syracuse. The Bulls back on the clock. With pick 15, they will trade this pick for Terrence Davis and a first-round top 3 protected pick in a couple of seasons. And the Pistons take power forward Nicholas Lowry, who was on our draft board out of Fresno State. Now the Magic pick 16. They trade this pick and Amir Coffey for Yusuf Nurkic and a first-round top 3 protected pick in 2 years. So the Knicks trade up and they get center Homer Kerr to replace Nurkic. OKC back on the clock. They take small forward Predrag Olic out of Serbia. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly, but probably not. The Hawks back on the clock. They take small forward Jackie Singleton out of Rhode Island. The Raptors take Edwin Morris, who fell to pick 19 in this draft, so I'm glad I did not choose him because it would have been probably a bad value pick. And I think that we got the right guy out of those 3 shooting guards. The Celtics on the clock. They take power forward Jacob Reese out of Mississippi. 21, the Mavericks. They take small forward Dalen Battle. That's a sick name. Out of Kentucky. The Sixers will trade pick 22 and Duncan Robinson for Terry Rozier from the Pistons, who are now back on the clock after a couple of picks. And they take point guard Justin Isley out of Turkey. Next up are the Heat, and they take power forward Neil Stewart to pair with Bam Adebayo. The Timberwolves take point guard Andre Andrews out of UCLA. He is albino, as you can see. The Grizzlies at pick 25 take center Rodley McLeod out of Missouri. The Thunder, another first-round pick, take small forward Radu Aaron out of Sweden. Again, I butchered that name for sure. I'm sorry. The Nuggets back on the clock. They take shooting guard Dion Rose out of Mississippi State. Hale State. Now the Pacers on the clock. They take center Elliot Clement out of Canada. The Grizzlies on the clock. Once again, they take center Alex Magette out of St. Mary's. The Thunder, another first rounder. They take small forward Edwin Maxwell out of San Jose State. 2 picks left here in this first round, one of which belongs to the Pelicans. And they take point guard Sean Cartwright, who was on my draft board and fell all the way here to 31. So he goes here. The Cavaliers, the last pick of this first round, they take small forward Sylvester Harris out of Bradley. So now, after the first round is over, I'm going to sim ahead to our second round pick and see what is there. So for our last pick of this draft here in the second round, I think I might take Rich Smalls, a 6'4" point guard out of Australia. Currently a 72 overall. He can score inside. He's got really solid, in fact, pretty good defense outside for a rookie. His scoring, besides getting to the rim, leaves a lot to be desired, but I think overall he could be a guy that we could develop. He's a really good athlete. IQ for sure needs some work. Potential's a B, but you can't really expect too much. I mean, we got lucky with taking a Z and having B+ potential there. So I think that I take Rich Smalls here. His comparison is Steve Francis / All-Star for the ceiling and Speedy Claxton / bench for the floor. He attacks closeouts with a vengeance. Once you get to the rim where he knows he can finish. Does not get a shot block too often and could be an all-star someday. Good potential. And his shooting obviously is a question mark. But I think that I want to take him and just, he could be like a project guy. So I'll draft him. Welcome to the team, Rich Smalls. And that is our last pick of this draft. I'm going to sim the rest of this one, and we'll check out the draft summary now. We are done with this draft. Klivov went first overall. He's a 74 overall, 21 years old, and he has what potential? It is A+, so he could be a really good player in just a couple of years. Alex Barker went at number 2. He's a 77 overall, 6 badges, and he's a really good shooter and has A- potential. Then Thomas Copeland went 3rd overall, a 76 overall at 19 years old. He's 6'6", good playmaker, good defender, A- potential. Then Dugonix, a 79 overall center at 22 years old, really good defender, good rebounder, and A- potential. The pick before us, Tommy Shepard at 77 overall, 19 years old, really good shooter, and he's got only B potential, so probably a miss here from the Spurs, but still good shooting means that he could be a really solid starter or just a really good role player right off the bat. Then our pick was Simon Anderson, 3 badges, 77 overall, 22 years old. Again, a really solid shooter, can also play make at shooting guard. He's 6'6", good athlete, high IQ, B+ potential. I'm totally fine with that for a first-round pick. We can definitely make the most of that. He's got 3 badges, 1 for finishing with Pro Touch, 2 for shooting with Corner Specialist and Green Machine. Then Keon Murphy went, and he had A potential, so good player there. Oscar Dawson, 77 overall to the Pelicans. He has B+ potential. Pick 9, Dan Westbrook, 76 overall. He has B+ potential. Pick 10, Chuck Outlaw, 74 overall, but A potential, so a really good player there. Nelson Daniel, 74 overall shooting guard that we almost took, and he has also B+ potential. At pick 12, Ellis Wright, the 4th, 77 overall, really solid shooter off the bat and only B potential. So the Bulls get probably a guy with a role player ceiling. And now Jacques Servin, B+ potential. He's a center out of Marquette, 74 overall. Jeff Kersey, 73 overall, small forward. He's got A- potential, so look out for him. Nicholas Lowry, 75 overall. And he's got B+ potential. Homer Kerr, 76 overall. He's got B potential. Predrag Olic, 74 overall. He's got B+ potential as well. Pick 18, Jackie Singleton, 77 overall and B potential. Edwin Morris, 74 overall at pick 19. He's got B+ potential as well. Pick 20, Jacob Reese, 73 overall, power forward, B potential. Dalen Battle, 75 overall, small forward, good shooter, but B potential. At pick 22, Justin Isley, 73 overall, B+ potential. Pick 23, Neil Stewart, 75 overall, power forward, he's got B potential. Andre Andrews, the albino, out of UCLA, 74 overall, B+ potential. Rodney McLeod, a center at 76 overall, B potential. Radu Aaron, 74 overall, small forward to the Thunder, B+ potential for him. Deion Rose at pick 27, really good shooter, he's got B potential though. Elliot Clement, the very next pick, 75 overall, he's got B potential. Pick 29, Alex Magetz. He's got B+ potential at a 74 overall. Edwin Maxwell at pick 30 has B- potential, so the worst so far in this first round, as we have 2 picks left. Sean Cartwright, who we considered taking, has A- potential. Whoa. Solid pick here by New Orleans. Sylvester Harris, the last pick of this first round, 71 overall. Needs some work in all areas and only B potential for him. So like last year, I'm going to go through these picks here in the second round and just show you guys which guys had high potential. And besides that, we are done with this draft summary. So Lawrence Lucas, the 3rd pick of the second round, had B+ potential. He's a 70 overall and he's a 6'4" shooting guard. Nicholas Poole at pick 4 also had B+ potential. And pick 5, Niko Vujanic, also B+ potential at center. And now our pick, Rich Smalls, 6'4" point guard, A, inside scoring, B+ defense on the outside, only B potential, but he could become a really solid backup point guard that can hopefully get to the rim, make a couple of good plays, and just be a good guy off the bench in like another 2 years or so. He has 3 badges, 2 for playmaking. He's got needle threader and quick first step, which is nice for a guy who wants to drive and get to the rim. And he's got 1 for defense for rebound chaser as a point guard. Oh, what a pick by the Pistons. Jeremy Lawson at shooting guard, a 6'6" player, 71 overall. He's got A- potential. I thought about taking him too, but I didn't want to take another shooting guard because we already have too many on the roster as is. Then the Lakers made a great second-round pick as well. A 6'4" point guard out of Memphis, Edmund Coleman, A- potential. He's a 68 overall, though, so he probably won't even play, but hopefully this does not go to waste. Then Austin Cox, B+ potential to the Rockets, a 6'6" shooting guard out of SMU. The Knicks took Dylan Carr, a 7'1" center, also out of Air Force, where I think Chuck Outlaw also went, and he has B+ potential as well. Besides that, nobody else had higher than B potential, so we are done with the draft summary. It's time for rookie signing. We're going to sign both guys. I think I'll probably play Rich Smalls over Chris Dunn and just have Chris Dunn be a guy that can be a veteran presence in case someone gets hurt, God forbid. But I think that's the plan there, unless Chris Dunn doesn't return for some reason. We'll see about that, and we'll go from there. Team player options. I'm going to decline the one for Caruso and accept the one for Zet, who of course is still trying to recover from the injury, but he'll be okay, I think. Before we go any further, I want you guys to look at Simon Anderson. I was here just trying to put a couple of armbands or sleeves on him for his accessories, but then I realized that this dude is an absolute tank. Would you not be terrified of this guy walking onto the court and he's the same position as you are? That is terrifying. He's 6'6", 228, but he looks like he could play center. He is just an absolute beast. He's a freak of nature. So, moratorium. We have about 24.5 mil in cap room. We have about 40 mil in cap holds. So we'll see about that. But here is who is available right now. You've got Kawhi. You've got LaMelo, who is going to return to Charlotte. No doubt about that. You've got AD, unrestricted. Jaylen Brown. Tyrese Halliburton, who is restricted. All these guys that are RFAs are going to go back to their same teams. Like it's almost set in stone. So not going to worry about that. There's also Lonzo Ball, who is not restricted. You've got DeMar DeRozan. You've got Desmond Bane, who actually is restricted, of course. But there is Pascal Siakam, Sabonis, CJ McCollum, Sadiq Bey, who's restricted. There's a lot of solid options here. I do want to sign a backup center first and foremost. There is Jalen Duren, actually, who's only 20 years old and is unrestricted. He does not match our system very well, but he's a 76 overall. Could be a really good young piece to add to our team. He's got good inside scoring, good inside defense, good rebounding, good physicals, B+ potential, only 20 years old. Not sure why he is available, but he is. And let's see what he did last year, or these last 2 years, actually. So in his rookie year, 11 points per game, 4.7 boards. I think he came off the bench for sure. He had 10.4 last year and 5.5, and he shot well. Played about 20-ish minutes per game in each year. And I think he'll do the same for us. I think I'll offer him a deal, but he wants a lot of money, actually. That is a lot of money in terms of salary for a guy who's going to come off the bench. So I might have to wait on that and think about other options first. Like, for example, Jakob Poeltl or Nick Claxton. I think I like Poeltl better because he wants less and is probably a better player overall. He matches our system better. A- inside scoring, B mid-range scoring. Good inside defense, good rebounding. Physicals is an F, but I mean, he's a really solid bench piece. Has started for quite a couple of teams here. He played 25-ish minutes last year, had 7.7 and 8.7 shot above 50% from the floor. If he can do that in about 20 minutes for us or so, I like that a lot. So I'm going to offer him a deal and see if he wants to join us. I'll just lower the salary just by a little bit, and we'll make this offer. By the way, our current cap holds are Oladipo, Caruso, Jay Crowder, Gary Harris, Chris Silva, and Royce O'Neal. I feel like I could probably see Oladipo potentially not returning because he really was taking a lot of shots away from players. He's 32. He's probably going to regress a little bit, and that opens the door for both Azette and Anderson to get a lot of playing time each. So I think we can probably go with that. Caruso not going to return. Jay Crowder, we could think about bringing him back in a similar bench role as last year. Gary Harris, Silva, and Royce O'Neal, we saw barely anything from them because they barely played, so I'm not sure how I feel about bringing those guys back. In case we don't bring back Crowder, we could always spend some more of our money because we're probably going to have a pretty good amount even after our cap holds and our signings. And Jalen Smith, 24 years old, 2.5-star system match, 78 overall. Unrestricted one's about 12.5 mil. Could be another really good bench option, but that is a lot of money for bench players. To give more than like 2 or 3 guys 10 million or like around there. But I mean, we would have a really good bench if we did that. There's also Lauri Markkanen, who wants less money, is only 27 years old, 6'11". We can't have a completely young team, and he's not young, he's not old. And I think I'll probably offer him instead of Smith, although Smith, I mean, actually, you know what, screw it. I will make an offer for him and see if he takes it. I'm going to lower the salary by a pretty good amount because he has no other offers currently. So I'll put it down to like here, and we'll see if he wants to think about that. Then for small forward, we only have Bruce Brown and Cedi Osman right now, and I don't know. Osman barely played, and he was bad when he did play. We could make a move here, maybe DeMar DeRozan, but he's 34 years old, so it's pretty much like a 1-year, 2-year deal with him. And that would be quite a bit of money. That would be a lot of money for us to spend here. And I think I want to probably let our younger guys grow into bigger roles. I don't know if I want to spend that much money for DeMar DeRozan. There is Nasir Little. There is Talen Horton-Tucker, but I mean, I'm not high on him at all. I don't know if there is a move to make right now at small forward unless we get a guy that we could throw in above Osman, given the chance. So we could make a move there. I think I'm comfortable with having Bruce Brown start because he's not taking shots away from guys. He's a good rebounder for a 6'4" player, and he's just a pretty solid player overall. So I think that I'll probably give an offer to like a lower guy like Lamar Stevens maybe, who's 27 years old, can shoot a little bit, has some solid defensive attributes, A- physicals. There's that. There is 35-year-old Nick Batum, but I want to go a little bit younger here. I think I'll go with Lamar Stevens and just see what we get here. I have 3 guys at small forward, which is kind of what I want to have, and we'll see. We'll see about that. So I made all 3 offers for this day. Let's go ahead, and apparently Pirtle, Smith, and Stevens will all agree. I am going to renounce the rights to Caruso, Harris, Oladipo, Crowder, Silva, and O'Neal. And I'll probably just try and sim through the rest of Moratorium before I make other offers here. So we'll do that. So we have simmed through Moratorium. We have made those 3 signings, Pirtle, Smith, and Stevens. Here is what our current roster looks like. Again, we still have plenty of cap room left to make moves with, but we have Dosunmu, we have Chris Dunn, we have Rich Smalls, we've got Anderson and Azette, who we'll see about his progression in a couple of moments here. We have Bruce Brown, Lamar Stevens, Cedi Osman. We've got Jalen Smith and Rivers waiting for his progression. We've got Turner and Pirtle. So that's who we have right now. And I think we definitely have better backups than last year for sure. And we could make another move or two. Okay, I have an idea. I really like Tyus Jones. I'm also a Duke fan, so some bias there, but he can shoot. He's a really good playmaker, good defender. I think he could be a better guy to lead the bench squad over Chris Dunn. We could still keep Chris Dunn and just have him in case injuries happen. Rich Small's also an option there. We don't have to cut Chris Dunn, but I do want to offer Tyus Jones and spend about $8 million more. So we'll offer him this deal. For shooting guard, I do want to bring in one more person to be there just in case injuries happen. So, for example, somebody like Luke Kennard, maybe. Really solid three-point shooter. Only wants about $3 million. And I feel like I'm comfortable bringing him on. Kind of sucks because he also went to Duke, so I'm still kind of biased. But I think that nobody else is offering him. He wants a low amount of money, and he could be a solid option in case Zed or Anderson get hurt. So we signed Tyus Jones and Luke Kennard. So we currently have 14 players on roster. We have the ability to have 15 for the regular season, which I do want to do. So I'm going to sign a backup. I do want to sign a backup power forward or center. Just a big man in general. I'm going to find a guy that can play both, preferably. All right, you know what? I think I'm just going to bring back Jay Crowder as our third power forward. We'll rock with 2 centers this year. And if we need to sign somebody else, we can just cut somebody and bring on him. Like cut Dunn, perhaps. And I'm cool with that. So we'll try and sign Crowder here. We'll have a 15-man roster. And now we will check all the signings on day 12. There are still quite a few players available, but we are on day 12 and I can't really check it on this screen beyond this point. So here are the big signings from this offseason. Jaylen Brown heads over to the Lakers, 3 years, $120. Kawhi goes to Detroit, 3 years, $123. The Hornets re-sign LaMelo Ball for $164 over 4 years. AD back to LA, 3 years, about $120. Same deal as Jaylen Brown, pretty much. Halliburton returns to the Pacers, 4 years, $137. Tyrese Maxey returns to Philadelphia, 5 years, $162. A massive deal for him. Markelle Fultz goes over to Indiana, 3 years, $52. DeJounte Murray coming off of his ruptured left Achilles, 4 years, $157 over to Chicago as the replacement for Lonzo Ball. DeMar does return to Chicago on a 2-year deal, $68 million. Siakam stays in Toronto. Anthony Melton over to the Magic. I think he was already there, though. There's Jay Crowder's deal. There's Tyus Jones's deal. This is not in order, I don't think, of, like, biggest deal made. In fact, I should do that, shouldn't I? Wait, Anthony Edwards went to the Clippers. The Timberwolves didn't match the offer sheet. He's gone. 4 years, $129. Wow, the Clippers get a star after losing Paul George in a trade during the year last year. Holy cow, that's pretty big. Tobias Harris leaves Philadelphia for Dallas. Jared Vanderbilt heads over to Utah. Bogdanovich goes to Brooklyn. There's Tyus Jones's deal again. Buddy Hield goes from the Pacers to the Clippers to join Anthony Edwards. Emmanuel Quickley goes from the Knicks to the Raptors, so they don't match the offer sheet for him. There's Pirtle's deal. Kenyon Martin Jr. 1 year for $11 million to Portland. Jayshawn Tate returns to the Thunder. Actually, he was on the Rockets, so he goes over to the Thunder. Oh, and some more last-minute deals for you. Sasa Pavic, 1 year, $18 million for the Spurs. Saddiq Bey goes to the Hornets. Sabonis, a 1-year deal to go back to Indiana after being traded to the Kings. Okongwu goes to the Kings. Lonzo heads over to the Hawks. So they pretty much swap DeJounte Murray and Lonzo Ball, Chicago and Atlanta. So that's definitely interesting. Okoro returns to Cleveland. And no other massive deals to make note of here. But actually, no, there was one. There was Desmond Bane's deal. Where is he? Desmond Bane, 1 year, $18 million to return to the Memphis Grizzlies. Okay, there we go. And also, McCollum goes to Washington. So now here is a really big part of this episode, player progression. Let's find out how much better not only Dosunmu but also Rivers and Azette got between last year and the start of this upcoming year. Here we go. Dosunmu stays at 79. Okay. Jalen Smith improved. Rivers goes up by 3. Got better pretty much across the board, which is to be expected. Cedi Osman actually gained some basketball IQ. Tyus Jones gained some defense, playmaking, and IQ. So good for him. Lamar Stevens gains 3 points, outside defense and playmaking. Luke Kennard gains outside defense and rebounding. Chris Dunn is still at a 74. Does not really lose anything, gains some IQ back as well. Jay Crowder actually does get worse. Azette goes up to a 72, so still not what I wanted to see from him. But he does get better shooting, better perimeter defense, better rebounding, better IQ. Physicals go down by just a little bit. And Rich Small is obviously not improved. So I think we have probably a better roster, for sure a better bench than we had last year. All-Star City Selection. It is Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. All right, good for them. We have advanced to the start of the new season. We start on October 23rd, 2024, against the reigning champions, the Cleveland Cavaliers, at home in Vancouver. That is our first game on the second day of the entire season. So first things first, our game plan. Here is my thought process. I'm going to start Simon Anderson at shooting guard. Also, Azette's potential has gone down from B+ to B-, so not entirely sure about him going forward, but we can still try and see what he can give us. I'm going to keep Dosunmu at point guard for now. I'm going to keep Bruce Brown at small forward for now. I'm going to put in Rivers in place of Crowder as the starting power forward. Going to probably not even play Crowder as of right now. So starting 5, Dosunmu, Anderson. We'll give him probably like 27, 28 minutes per game. We'll give Rivers the same. We'll leave Turner at 30. In fact, I'll actually up our starters up to like 31-ish to start the season. Because that's pretty important for us to get these guys some good playing time, some good minutes on the court together. And for the bench squad, we're going to have Jalen Smith. We're going to have Jakob Poeltl. We're going to have Luke Kennard. We're going to have Tyus Jones, of course. And let's see, what else can we do? I'm going to lower these guys' minutes just by a bit. And who we can bring off of the bench, small forward, Stevens or Cedi Osman. I'll give, actually no, it needs to be Azette, actually, over Kennard, not Kennard. Kennard can sit for now. I do want to see what he can do at some point, but I want to see if Azette can still, do things, obviously. He did not improve that much, but hopefully he can improve enough where he can, still give us like 10 points off the bench. And we'll play Cedi Osman as the backup small forward and see what he can do to start the year. Jay Crowder could come back in at some point, maybe at small forward. We'll see about that. But I think right now we'll do Dosunmu, Anderson, Brown, Rivers, and Turner as the starting 5. But I think for now we'll start with Dosunmu, Anderson, Brown, Rivers, and Turner. Then off the bench, Jalen Smith, Jakob Poeltl, Omer Azette, Tyus Jones, and Cedi Osman. A much better bench squad than last year. As for new head coach Trent Peterson, I want to again increase our run plays option to 95. We will stick with the Clippers playbook to start the year and make adjustments as we see fit. I will go back and assign all players to certain plays that fit their skill set the very best. And I'll change some more stuff as well after this. So Clippers playbook, there we go. We'll keep that just to start this year. But again, let me know what you guys want down below, because I'm not going to record the next episode until I read a couple of comments first. So for offensive and defensive focuses, I'm going to start with neutral offensive focus, average tempo, limit transition. For defensive focus, I just want neutral. Aggression, I want to play physical defense. And for rebounding, I want to crash the defensive glass. So that's how we start the year. All right, we are going to start the year running the balanced system, which our coach just prefer. Anderson and Rivers still are trying to get used to the system, but Brown, Dosunmu, and Turner all are in the green for this. And this is currently the active system. Every system besides defense is at 2.5 stars. So we have options here. We could try out the triangle offense, but I want to shoot more threes because we have guys who could knock those down with Brown, Anderson, Dosunmu, and Turner. Also, the bench players too can knock down threes as well. But we'll start with balanced, which gives us the most balance, as it says. So between now and next episode, I'm going to adjust our playbook, assign plays to certain players. I'm going to assign training to certain players for certain attributes, and I'm also going to assign mentorships from our older players for our younger guys as well. I will do all of that between now and next episode, and this is where I leave you. We are, I think, a better overall team than these last 2 years. We have a much younger team this year, which I think can definitely improve, and I think we have a good future ahead of us, and we have a very strong litmus test against the reigning champion Cleveland Cavaliers on our opening night and our home opener as well. So that is next episode, folks. Thanks, guys, so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment your thoughts about this episode down below, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. So take care and go Woodsmen.